What if the end of the world wasn't caused by nuclear war, zombies, or aliens, but by creatures people believed existed only in fairy tales? Imagine waking up one morning to find dragons flying through the sky, turning entire cities into oceans of fire within minutes. Humanity's greatest weapons become almost useless, governments disappear, and the few survivors are forced to hide like frightened animals. Today's story follows one man who has spent his entire life running from these monsters, until he finally decides to face the creature that destroyed everything he ever loved. The story begins in modern-day London, where a construction company is digging deep beneath the streets to build a new subway tunnel. Everything seems normal until the workers discover a strange underground chamber that has remained hidden for centuries. A young boy named Quinn is brought to the site by his mother, who supervises the project. Curious, Quinn secretly explores the mysterious cave. Strange symbols cover the walls, and giant bones lie buried beneath the dust. Feels less like an ancient ruin and more like a prison. Suddenly, the ground begins to shake. From the darkness, an enormous creature slowly opens its glowing eyes. Its body is covered in thick scales. Its wings fill the entire cavern, and its breath is hot enough to melt stone. Before anyone understands what is happening, the beast attacks. Quinn watches in horror as his mother and many workers are caught in the chaos. He barely escapes while the creature bursts out into the open world. No one realizes it yet, but humanity has just awakened its oldest nightmare. Over the following months, reports of giant flying creatures spread across the globe. Entire towns disappear overnight. Military forces launch missiles, tanks, and fighter jets, but the dragons keep coming. Fire sweeps through forests, cities, and highways. Power grids collapse, food becomes scarce, and governments lose control. The very technology humans once depended on becomes useless against an enemy that dominates the skies. 20 years pass. The world is almost unrecognizable. Most cities are abandoned ruins covered with ash and broken buildings. Nature slowly begins reclaiming the land, while dragons rule the skies. Human survivors hide in isolated communities, avoiding smoke, noise, and bright lights that might attract the deadly predators. Quinn is now an adult and leads one such community inside an old fortified castle in northern England. Every day is a battle for survival. Food is carefully rationed, children are taught never to wander outside, and everyone follows strict rules designed to keep the dragons away. Unlike many leaders, Quinn doesn't promise hope. He promises survival. He knows exactly what dragons can do because he watched one destroy his childhood. Every morning, small teams leave the castle to search abandoned farms and villages for anything useful. Rusted tools, canned food, old medicines, and seeds are now worth more than gold. Every trip is dangerous because a single mistake can attract death from above. Even the children understand the danger. To keep their spirits alive, the adults organize small plays and tell old stories about the world before dragons existed. The younger generation listens with amazement, unable to imagine crowded cities, airplanes, or electricity. To them, dragons have always been part of life. One afternoon, while searching for supplies, Quinn's team notices something disturbing in the distance. Fresh burn marks. That can mean only one thing. A dragon is hunting nearby. Without wasting a second, Quinn orders everyone to abandon the search and run for cover. The survivors race across empty fields as a terrifying roar echoes through the sky. The dragon appears like a living storm. Its massive wings block the sunlight while streams of fire explode across the ground. Trees instantly burst into flames. Buildings collapse under the intense heat. The survivors scatter in every direction, desperately searching for shelter. Quinn refuses to leave anyone behind. Even while risking his own life, he helps the slowest members of the group escape before the dragon can attack again. Back inside the castle, everyone realizes how close they came to dying. The encounter also reminds Quinn of one painful truth. No matter how careful they are, they cannot hide forever. Food supplies continue shrinking, and each expedition becomes more dangerous than the last. The community faces an impossible choice: stay hidden and slowly starve, or venture farther into dragon territory searching for resources. As hope begins to fade, something completely unexpected appears on the horizon. A convoy of armored vehicles. The engines roar loudly, breaking every survival rule Quinn has ever taught. The newcomers don't seem afraid of dragons at all. Instead of hiding, they look like they're hunting. The people inside Quinn's fortress watch in disbelief as the armored convoy rolls through the gates. These strangers aren't starving survivors, they're experienced dragon hunters. Their vehicles are covered with armor, and every member of the team carries heavy weapons with complete confidence. Leading them is a fearless American warrior named Van Zon. Unlike Quinn, who believes survival comes from avoiding dragons, Van Zon believes the only way to save humanity is to hunt them down. His arrival immediately creates tension. Quinn thinks Van Zon's loud engines and reckless attitude will attract dragons and put everyone in danger. But Van Zon reveals that he and his team have spent years studying dragon behavior. They know the creatures are powerful, but they also have weaknesses. According to Van Zon, almost every dragon in the world is female. There is only one surviving male, the original dragon that escaped beneath London years ago. As long as that male remains alive, new dragons will continue to hatch and spread across the planet. If the male dies, the entire species will slowly disappear. For the first time in years, Quinn hears something that sounds like hope. Still, he struggles to trust Van Zon. Too many people have died because of overconfidence. He knows dragons are smarter than most people imagine, and one mistake can wipe out an entire community. Before anyone can continue the discussion, disaster strikes. A dragon circles above the fortress. The alarm bells ring as everyone rushes to safety. The hunters prepare their weapons while Quinn orders civilians into hiding. Seconds later, fire rains from the sky. The dragon attacks with incredible speed. Buildings explode into flames, walls collapse, and people run in every direction. Van Zon's team fights back with everything they have, firing powerful weapons into the sky. After an intense battle, they finally bring the dragon crashing to the ground. The victory comes at a terrible cost. Several survivors lose their lives, valuable supplies are destroyed, and parts of the fortress are left in ruins. Quinn realizes something painful. Even hiding behind walls can no longer protect his people. After the attack, Van Zon asks Quinn to guide his team back to London. Since Quinn was the only person who saw the original dragon emerge, he knows the city better than anyone else. Although he fears the mission, Quinn finally agrees. The group begins a dangerous journey through the burned remains of England. Every abandoned town reminds them of the civilization that once existed. Empty highways, collapsed bridges, rusting airplanes, and silent buildings stand as monuments to humanity's defeat. The closer they move toward London, the more dragon activity they discover. Huge nests cover entire districts, while the sky is filled with giant shadows hunting for food. One night, the team barely survives another dragon attack. During the battle, Quinn saves several hunters, proving that courage is not measured by loud words but by quiet actions. Van Zon begins respecting Quinn's judgment. Likewise, Quinn realizes the hunters possess skills that ordinary survivors never learned. At last, they reach the ruins of London. The once famous city has become a graveyard of blackened skyscrapers and collapsed streets. Ash covers everything, and silence fills the air. Somewhere inside these ruins waits the male dragon. The hunters carefully prepare their final plan. Using bait, they hope to lure the monster into the open before launching one decisive attack. Everything seems ready until the dragon appears far sooner than expected. Its size is far beyond anything they imagined. With a single blast of fire, vehicles explode. Defensive positions vanish instantly. The team fights desperately, but the creature is unbelievably fast and intelligent. Van Zon makes one final fearless attempt to distract the dragon, giving Quinn a chance to complete the mission. His sacrifice buys only a few precious seconds. Quinn refuses to let everyone else's efforts be wasted. Remembering everything he learned since childhood, he notices the perfect opportunity. Timing every movement carefully, he attacks the dragon at exactly the right moment. After one final, desperate struggle, the mighty beast falls. For a few seconds, complete silence fills the ruined city. Then the survivors slowly realize what has happened. The last male dragon is dead. Without him, no new dragons can be born. Humanity finally has a real chance to rebuild. The movie ends with survivors stepping into a future filled with uncertainty, but also hope. The skies are no longer ruled by fear alone. For the first time in decades, people can dream of rebuilding farms, cities, and families. Reign of Fire reminds us that true strength isn't about having the biggest weapon. It's about facing impossible odds without giving up. Even when the world seems completely lost, courage, teamwork, and hope can still change history. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more amazing movie recaps. See you in the next video.